everybody, how are you all doing? It's me, Mr. Flynn, Back again with the F2 lot today. Hello Mix, how you doing buddy? Welcome on in, and I see you're racing today, so good luck and keep it safe out and about around the Miami circuit today. A total of 19 corners, 3 lovely DRS zones. Your first one in sector 2 on the entrance to turn 9, down to turn 11. Your second DRS zone on the exit of 16, down to 17. And then your third one on the exit or entrance of 19, down to turn number 1. One-shot qualifying on the way in a few moments' time. We'll get into the main race of it all, the sprint race, in a few minutes as well. And then after the sprint, we'll get into the main race itself, the feature race here for the F2 lot today. Looking a bit cloudy, but no rain to be expected. We're going to get going here in 15 seconds' time. And Mix as well saying stay safe, guys. Indeed. Do keep it nice and clean and safe on the track, as it's a one-shot qualifying as well. Drivers won't need to worry about anybody else on the track. Just get the quickest lap that they can do possibly, and we'll see what they can do. On board with someone who's new to the league as well, I believe. It's on board of Ashton, who's currently in P2, making his way down to turns number 1, 2, and then number 3. And gone a little bit wide there, and unfortunately finding him way down into P7. And looking at the top 3 at the moment, that keeps switching around with Robin McQueen and P1 to choose. Was in P2, then takes P1. So top 3 looking a little bit spicy. Looking, as we all like to see and love to say, very, very spicy. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. Just on board then with Ashton. We're not going to switch because I've gotten multiple feedback from people obviously who watch the stream, and they've been saying that they want to see more of the qualifying action and stop seeing the blank, black screens, which I can understand that it can be frustrating. So we're just going to keep our eyes peeled to what we are seeing now. On board with the Red Bull driver still making his way down in sector 2, and of course on the entrance of turn number 12 down to 16. These are a couple of tricky corners to navigate. You've got a sharp left-hander, a sharp right-hander. It is just really, really difficult, but the Red Bull there doing his best and do what he can do, making his way up into P5 now on the exit of 16 down to turn 17, where it's all flat out, so no need to lift, except if you're racing and you're side-by-side with someone. I can understand why you might want to lift, but nevertheless, heading towards now turn number 17, and then 18 and 19 are very, very shortly. And Ashton will come around the final corner to complete his qualifying lap. And it's going to be a 1 minute 38.949. Quickest of them all is Robin McQueen to choose behind at 1 minute 39.385. And then Viper Strikes in that P3 at 1 minute 39.712. Probably his best qualifying yet throughout the whole season of round number 7 here at the Miami circuit. For Ashton, who's new to this league, first race for the F2 lot, a 1 minute 43.001, 4 seconds off the pace, but P5 start, not too shabby, so he'll have high hopes and be very happy with that one. Skill issue, unfortunately not able to get a valid lap in, and then suffocating down in P7, a DSQ, not ideal for suffocating. Obviously the championship, Robin McQueen leading it at the moment, running away with quite a far margin, but can Tachus do what he does best and close it down? Well, that's what we've got to find out this season. 7 seconds to go. We'll get into a quick little break, shall we say, of letting drivers sort out their setups, strategies and tyres, and then we'll get back into some racing action. So do bear with us for a few mementos, and we'll get right back into it, chat. So like I say, don't go anywhere. Just going to turn it up a bit. Might need to turn the audio up just slightly because it does seem to be a little bit quiet on the stream, so hopefully be a little bit louder now. But we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here for the Miami GP, and it's lights out And away we go. It's a very good start for Suffocating in P1 at this moment of time. But looking to turn number 1, down the inside goes Skill Issue and takes P1 away from Suffocating. But Suffocating trying to fight this one back into the tricky S's of 6 and... Oh, no, not 6. It's of 3 and 4 we go now. My brain doesn't seem to be coping very well at this moment of time, but hopefully it will get better on as we get through these couple of corners for this first lap of racing. But Skill Issue with a very good start and getting into that P1. Suffocating slightly into P2 and trying to retain P1 like he normally would. And Juice making a charge up into P4 already, getting by Viper Strikes, Wobbin McQueen and Ashton. Now Wobbin McQueen in the background, as we can see, trying to get up into P5. Has successfully done it at this moment of time, but as well trying to get around to Juice. So we'll go on board with Wobbin McQueen now on the inside of Juice into turns number 11 and 12 we go. And it looks like Wobbin McQueen has just about done it, but Tachu's trying to come back at this one. Viper Strikes in the background as well, trying to get involved, but yeah, Tachu's unable to get by Wobbin McQueen. So what we now will set after P3, which is James Mustang, and they're separated by 8 tenths, and James Mustang to Suffocating 1.3. So yeah, not too bad, I would say, but it's not ideal. But we've got 12 laps of racing around this lovely circuit, so hopefully they'll be able to do a lovely comeback and regain to where they were. And Skill Issue a 1 minute 44.012. I'll turn the audio just down a little bit on the string because it looks a little bit loud. And we'll get our eyes peeled back to the racing action. Looking at the top 2 so far. Must say, not looking bad for the top 2. Only separated by what? 4 tenths to 3 tenths to 5 tenths of a second. So if Suffocating keeps this up, which he's doing superbly, by the way, he could find himself back in P1 on lap number 3. Probably on the exit, if he's close enough of turn number 9 down to turn 11, he can make a move. But we'll see what his striking distance is going to be after we get to lap number 3, when, of course, the DRS is going to be enabled. And as we can see here, Wobbin McQueen gaining on his teammate of James Mustang. These two been very well and very good this season, and you can see that James Mustang going a little bit wide just to let his teammate through, because he knows his teammate is on for a championship win, a victory here to take the crown. So a good team play there. So James Mustang might try and maybe do what he does best and hold up to Juice. But now we have a fight for the lead. It's Suffocating pulling to the left-hand side, I believe it is, and it is indeed, making his way down to turn number 17, 18 and 19, very, very early on the brakes. And that's, of course, because Skill Issue going way too deep into the corner, and Suffocating taking that spot into P1, and Skill Issue demoted down to P2, but heading towards turn number 1, 2 and 3. Is Skill Issue going to go for a cheeky dive down the inside? He is, and he's going to clip the rear wing of Suffocating, and he is off the circuit. Wing damage, and that is probably going to be his race over and going offline. And that's Wobbin McQueen up into P2, and now he'll try and set after Suffocating to potentially try and take what he wants best and take the win here of the sprint. And now we have to Deuce going wheel to wheel with James Mustang and getting around Mustang for P number 4. But you can see here, look at this Skill Issue causing a bit of a car park here. But Tachu saying, no, I want this position. Still ahead of James Mustang, even into that tricky corner of turn number 6 to 7 to 8. And with the DRS activated now, he should find his way by Skill Issue heading towards turns number 11 and 12. And I believe he does. And late braking for Tachusa. Skill Issue, you can see that with that hefty wing damage. And actually, no, I could be wrong here. Somehow Skill Issue is still ahead of Tachusa here. Tachusa stuck in a car sandwich at the moment, with Viper Strikes behind now as he's gotten around James Mustang for P number 5. But surely, with the straight line speed of Tachusa's position, he should be able to get by Skill Issue now, because obviously Skill Issue has what I believe, which is no front wing, because he drove into the wall heading towards turn number 17, which isn't ideal. Late on the brakes for the pair of them, and they're still going wheel to wheel, but somehow Turchus has made his way by, and that is Skillishu pulling into pit lane and going to get his front wing repaired. And that obviously helps out James Mustang to P5 and Ashton as well to P6, and helps Viper Strikes as well get to P4. Turchus, however, in P3. The gap between them two is, what, 2.9 of a second. Skillishu as well has retired from the session. He knows, unfortunately, his race is over with that damage to his front wing, to be honest. So I'm not surprised that he's retired. So unfortunately for Skillishu, Turchus, the gap to him and Wobby McQueen is around about 2.9. And Wobby McQueen trying to gain on Suffocating for that P1 spot. And I don't know if he's saving tyres, but he gets close. Like, he gets in like 1.8 range or 1.9 range, and he just bumps up again to 2 seconds. So is Wobby McQueen struggling just a little bit? Hopefully not, because it would be unfortunate to see that, of course. But now Turchus is going to be under humongous pressure, which I must say, by Viper Strikes, who's having a very good race so far in the sprint. If he can get past Turchus, he'll find himself into P3. And you know what? He's done that to superb. Up into P3, Viper Strikes go towards turn 17. And on the exit 17, they get a similar exit, the pair of them. But obviously it will be, I believe, Turchus with the DRS to attack, and it will be. So heading towards turn number 1, which way is Turchus going to go? He's going to go down the inside, shall we say. There's still going to be wheel to wheel. Towards 2 and 3 we go. There's still wheel to wheel. And Viper Strike's trying to go around the outside here, make a move stick, and he does indeed. Up into P3, once again, a lovely move there. Into 4, 5, and 6 we go. Viper Strike's doing what he does best. Back into P3. Turchus probably getting heated, probably getting angry, because at the moment he's stuck, and he doesn't want to be stuck behind Viper Strikes, because Turchus wants to try and take this crown away from, of course, Wobby McQueen, who's, what, 1.9 away from suffocating. But Turchus isn't able to do as much damage as he'd want to do, because, like I say, he's stuck in a little DRS train sandwich, and some excellent defense and moves by Joe by going around the outside of, what, 4 and 5 and 2 and 3, getting the move done. Superb work. It's absolutely wonderful and fascinating to see. But looking towards the top 2 now, the gap is really closed down. So I think Suffocating has had a moment in turns 12 towards turns number 16, because that gap now is 1.4. And it wasn't like that before. I could trust you on that one. And once again, we have Turchus back into, what is it, P number 3. And actually yellow flags in the background. And that is Viper Strikes, I believe, who's gone straight on. And luckily, it doesn't seem he has damage on his front wing at all. But he's now down in P5, so he's had a moment somewhere, which definitely isn't ideal. Like I said, it was looking like he was having a very, very good race. Unfortunately there, whatever's happened, I'm not too sure, because we kind of missed that. So now James Mustang could have a shot here of getting on that podium and securing a P3 in the sprint. But does he have the pace and the patience? And best of all, can he do it? He's within a second, so he will get that rear wing activated and open, which does mean he'll get a boost of the DRS, a bit more straight line speed than Turchus, who's in P3. He'll get a little bit closer, but how close will he get? The gap is 0.8. It looks like it's around about 0.8, so maybe Turchus' straight line speed is much better than James Mustang, even with the DRS activated. So that could be a key factor, and that could also be quite interesting to watch out for. But James Mustang has really aced that Sector 2 in turns 14, 15 and 16, because he is almost, I wouldn't say right on the gearbox, but he is getting close to that rear wing and gearbox of the juice for P number 3. Viper Strikes as well. You can see in the background, the gap to him and James is what, 6 seconds. So if a Viper Strikes had that moment, which he did, going straight on at turn number 17, that does mean he could have potentially flat spotted and really raw or weared out his tyres, which means his grip levels are going to be quite rubbish, to be honest. So that's definitely not ideal. But going towards the top 2 now, Suffocating still in the lead of this race on lap number 7, with One McQueen really closing in, especially in sector 1, heading towards sector 2 very, very shortly. And he is really, as well, like his teammate, instead of acing that tricky area of turns 14, 15 and 16, he's really hooked up and really did ace that sector 1. Into sector 2 now, the gap is 1.1, so it has extended on the straight, which means Suffocating could have, what, maybe optimized his setup for straight line speed. But let's see, can Wobbin McQueen do what his teammate did just a lap ago and potentially ace these couple of corners as we go now? And it looks like he has. But is it going to be enough to get into that DRS zone of Suffocating? Potentially could be enough. It could be. I have high hopes it could. But is that rear wing going to open? It is indeed. So now things get interesting. Towards lap number 8 we commence. Because now Wobbin McQueen has the DRS on Suffocating. So it's just a moment of time when he may go for the move to take the lead of this race. But obviously, like we're seeing now, the gap is 8 tenths to 7 tenths. So Rob McQueen looks like he's quite quicker in the first, I'd say, couple of corners. But when it comes to straight line speed, it looks like Suffocating just looks a bit more confident and just a little bit better. So it could get interesting towards the end of this race. Depends whose tyres wear out fastest. Could also play a key factor of this race. And as well, can Suffocating keep the pressure enough to not bottle it and lose the lead of this race? Because that would also be quite gutting, but obviously exciting as well. Because then that means the pressure's getting to Suffocating, but at the moment in time he's doing a superb job right now of keeping that gap just as big enough as it needs to be. And as well, James Mustang trying to get him onto Juice as much as they possibly can, but just isn't close enough to go for a cheeky move around the outside or the inside, really. But if he could do what he did before and ace this sector and this part of the track on this circuit, it could go well. As a 3-second time penalty is awarded to Viper Strikes for multiple warnings, and that will be for exceeding track limits, which obviously isn't ideal. And now James is within 6 tenths to 5 tenths of a second on that rear wing of Tachus. Is he going to go for a cheeky move, as we now have Rob McQueen somehow managed to close around almost half a second on a Suffocating? It is getting tight now, and it is getting close between these two. But can Suffocating do enough to fend off Wobby, who is absolutely flying in the championship right now, and absolutely flying on this circuit? And James Mustang as well. That gap was literally 9 tenths of a second, and it drastically dropped to 6 tenths, but now it's 6 to 7 tenths. So Mustang able to stay where he needs to stay for now. Wobby going a little bit wide there, making his way through 4, 5 and 6. Now towards 7 and 8 we go. The gap is what, around about 6 tenths of a second. If we go on board with Wobby McQueen, excuse me, is he going to go for the move? Not that silly, so I don't think he'll go for it yet. But obviously Suffocating does go a little bit deep. That's where Webby could be finding the time. And look at that, riding on board with Wobby himself in this tricky part of the track. Look at that, the way he just mounts the curbs. gets the exit that he needs, that he'll really need. But look at the straight line speed difference between Suffocating and Wobbin McQueen. This could be his best bet now. He's within 4/10, so 3/10 of a second. His striking distance is now. If he wants to go for a move, he's got to go for it now. He's pulling to the left-hand side, which isn't close enough, doesn't gain enough in a straight line to go for the move. But late on the brakes for the pair of them, and better exit-wise, does go towards Suffocating. So he might be safe for now, which I believe he will be, because Wobbie is nowhere near, obviously, to get a move done. So Suffocating, doing what he does best, keeping his calm. Race, trying to be in his own head. James Mustang, trying to fight for that P3, but that gap is now opening up to his second, which means now James Mustang is denied DRS, which means it's probably game over for that P3 slot. And to choose doing what he does best, gaining a P3, he'll be happy with that. Probably wanted the race win, and as well wanted to finish ahead of Wobbin McQueen. Now making their way around 6 and 7, we commence and we go. Suffocating, feeling the pressure. 3/10 is the gap. This is closer and closest that Wobbie has been before. DRS is activated. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go to the left-hand side? He's going to pull to the left-hand side into the tricky parts of the track we go. They're going to slightly go wheel to wheel, and Suffocating has to yield for now. But you got to remember, he's going to get the DRS on the exit of turn number 16 towards number 17. So this battle for P1 isn't over yet. He's only, what, around about 4 to 3/10 behind. So if we go on board with Suffocating, what is his straight line speed compared to Wobbie? And can he stay with Wobbie to take P1 back? Is it possible? Trying to be as late on the brakes as he possibly can. On the exit 17 towards turns 1 and 2 we go. He's only around about 3/10 of a second behind. And he is really throwing that car about, which obviously won't help the tyres out at all. But maybe he's struggling to turn the car, potentially, or maybe he's just doing it to get better exits. I'm not too sure, because I'm not in the driving seat of Suffocating right now. But look at the gap between them two. Only separated by 2/10 of a second. It is starting to brew. It is starting to battle. Spice up just a little bit. 4/10 between these two. And we're on the penultimate lap of this race. Suffocating. Look at the exit he got compared to Wobbin McQueen. Now, what's he going to do here? He's got the DRS. He's going to circle to the rear wing of Wobbin McQueen himself. Pull out to the left-hand side. Making their way down to turns number 11 and 12. But does brake early. Looks like he doesn't want to go for the move yet. That could be the plan. Only separated by 3 to 4/10 of a second. Is he going to go for the move here? Heading towards turn number 17. He's nowhere near to get into that P1 primary spot for now. But let's see. Can Suffocating do what he did last lap? An absolute ace. Sector 1 and Sector 2 and ace all these corners now for the final lap of this race. Only separated by 4/10 of a second. Let's see what both of these Brits can do. Towards turns number 1 and 2 we go. And Suffocating. Trying to go flat out here. Stay with Wobbin McQueen, because Wobbin McQueen's thinking, you know what, I've got to ace these corners now. I've got to run away. I've got to do what I do best. But look at Suffocating. Almost glued to that rear wing of Wobbie. But now the gap is really starting to open up. And it might be that Suffocating's chances of that P1 could be over. The gap is what, 5/10 of a second to 6/10 of a second. He's too far back to go for a move. There is one more possibility he could get the move done, and that's going to be on the end of turn number 16 towards turn number 17 as well. Obviously, these cars don't have the ARS battery, so they've really got to ace these, and Webby there drifting his car into turn number 11 and 12 we go. And can Suffocating get close enough to get the move done into turns number... I'm getting lost now. 14 and 15 we go. Turn 16. Who's going to ace it? To be honest, they both got a fairly good exit there. The gap is, what, 0.6 of a second? And it doesn't look like Suffocating is going to be close enough to get a move done. He's in the DRS zone. He's getting right close to Webby as he possibly can. But looks like there's going to be a deny for now, and Wobby will cross the line to take the win of this race for the sprint here at Miami. We'll get to the main race very, very shortly in a few seconds' time. But Suffocating will have to concede for P2. Tachus will come home in P3. P4 being handed out to James Mustang. Good race from him. Viper Strikes coming home, which looks like a very good day for him in P number 5. And then we have Ashton down in P6. A very good race from him. He'll be getting some good points, which he'll be happy with. And in Skill Issue, won't be finishing the sprint due to a DNF of damage. But we've still got the main race to happen as well. So we've still got one more chance to make it right. But no, I really think Suffocating could have got the win there. He just slightly messed up his exits on the final lap. Didn't have a great exit of 16. Wobby did. And he just ran away. But that was some nice levitating from the race winner himself. And he'll be very happy with that victory. There we go. Loading into the next bit now. And looking a lot more sunnier. No more clouds to get in our way. So tyre attempts could, of course, play a key factor into this race. And as well, that could play a key factor is pit stops. Yes, we had the sprint. You don't need to pit under that certain part of the sprint because it's not required, it's not mandatory. But now, in the main race itself, a mandatory pit stop is required. So, as we get ready with that mandatory pit stop, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here at the Miami GP. And it's going to be, as we always say, it's lights out and away we go. Wowzers. It's a very good start by Robin McQueen, who is going to already make his way up into P1 to choose. So it's almost there into P1, but slots into P2. We've got moves happening up in the background. That's going to be Skill Issue, known as Mix, making his way up into P5 and Suffocating as well, getting up there into P6. Now it's Viper Strikes getting in the mix once again and trying to have a fight with Tachus for that P number 2 slot. And Viper Strikes, as once again, looking very, very race pacey. And Robin McQueen seems to be on the soft compound of tyre, and that might not be ideal move to do, because if he is on that compounded tyre, and if Tachus is looking race pacey on those tyres, then it could be it for Webby, because he has just wasted a set of the soft compounded tyre, and someone trying to go for a cheeky inside move there. Believe that was going to be... It wasn't. It was going to be Viper Strikes trying to take P2 away from Tachus. Tachus are having a bit of a sketchy moment into turns number 14 and 15, but keeping the car in a straight line, which, of course, we like to see. So, all the drivers surviving lap 1, and now about to make their way to turn 17 to start lap number 2. Bob McQueen is not really doing the best. As you can see there, tyre compound there are 4 drivers on the soft tyre, 3 on the mediums, and the softs aren't really making a getaway at this moment in time. But someone who is trying to defend right now for that P3 is James Mustang, who's looking to go down the inside of the Viper Strikes, try and get the move done for that P3. But Viper Strikes fighting back and taking P3 once again into turns number 2, 3, and then towards 4, 5, and 6 we go. They're going to be side by side, and Viper Strike stays ahead for now. And in the background is going to be Skill Issue trying to compromise on these two on the soft compound of tyre, and might try and get a cheeky position as he gets one on James Mustang, who goes way too wide at turn number 7 towards turn number 8. Now Skill Issue up into P number 4. Viper Strikes in P number 3, about 1.2 away from Choose, who is what, about almost under a second to Chooses of that. Oh my goodness, of Rob McQueen, as we saw an audacious move there by Skill Issue, trying to get by Viper Strikes, and in doing so they both bang wheels, which definitely isn't ideal. To Choose not getting the greatest exit that he would want, but of course Wobby on the soft tyre of compound will have the better exits at this moment in time, but those tyres should start to die off fairly quickly. Out of 17 we go. We've got a big DRS train happening here. It's from P number 3 all the way back to P number 6. So we're going to see here which Skill Issue will get the move done for P3 on the quicker, softer tyre, late braking into turns 1, 2, and 3, but a little bit too late on the brakes there. Does rejoin the track and give the position back to Viper Strikes, and James Mustang might try and hug the inside here, which she's unable to, because I believe he had a moment, so he had to quickly move out the way to not lose the car. So Skill Issue at the moment of time was in P number 3, went a little bit deep, or too deep, into turns 1, 2, and 3, and in doing so, Viper Strike says thank you very much, back into P3, not burning my tyres, not wasting any tyre wear, and he's just playing the nice, calm, chill game, but Skill Issue playing the impatient game, playing the game that I want to be in front of you, get out of my way, and let me have what is mine, and that's P3. Into 11 and 12 we go. Skill Issue back to P3. Viper Strike so still on the gearbox here. On the exit of 16, if he gets a good exit towards 17, he could be on a charge here to get the move done. Possibly. Don't quote me on that, because I could be wrong. We'll have to find out. He's what? Around about 5/10 he is behind Skill Issue on board with James Mustang on the soft compound tyre. To 17 we go. Look at the brake difference. Every driver here tonight braking at different marker boards and what they think is a better braking zone. Viper Strike's going left, going right. Which way is the Brit going to go? In towards turn number 1. It's going to stay behind, and luckily Skill Issue able to make the corner this time. And in doing that, Viper Strike's actually going to get a move done here and go back into P3. So confident on the power. They're getting very close into the right-handers and the left-handers. Skill Issue the inside now. He switches to the outside as well. So some very good battling going on between these two. And James Mustang might try and capitalise and get past Skill Issue. A bit of banger wheels. Over the curb he goes. Not the best of exits, because he got pushed into the curb there by Skill Issue, which of course wasn't on purpose. That was just really hard racing at that moment of time. But James, look how close he is. This is the closest he's been before. Is he going to try for a late braking move? Into 11 and 12 we go. He's going to try. He's going to try and go around the outside if he can. He just about holds it. Skill Issue, look how close they are. Room is just about there. Suffocating. Stuck at this moment of time. But he's looking to go for a move very shortly. But as well, which is interesting, to Choose 2.4 away from Wobby McQueen. Wobby absolutely flying on that soft compound tyre, which he should be. So lap number 5, he will take us because the battle is brewing down below in the bottom, I'd say 6. That's where we're currently spectating at the moment. P6 towards P3, so there you go. So James Mustang, a 10th behind Skillershoe, isn't going to go for the move yet. Isn't feeling brave enough. And Skillershoe could just be in danger here, as it's now open up to a second. So he might not get that rear wing open, which is looking like he won't be. Through the S as we go. It's almost within a second, but he does lose. He loses the DRS. James Mustang in that P5 spot is most likely gonna get that move done, because he's got that rear wing open. Isn't gonna go for the move yet. But on the exit 16, if he's close enough, he'll get the move done then. But can Skillershoe try and get back within a second to make it back into DRS with the rear wing open? It looks like it's going to be a no. And look at the way James Mustang mounts that curb, and look at the way Skillershoe tries to avoid it. So, like I say, interesting lines going on here. But James Mustang right on the gearbox here. Skillershoe, he'll pull to the right hand side, making his way down to turn 17. He's about a car's width ahead. Into 17 we go now. Late on the brakes for the pair of them. Anybody going to be in the wall? They're not indeed. But Skillershoe giving up. And that's a position to James. Up into P4 he goes. Can Suffocating capitalise and get past Skillershoe himself. Down into turn 1 we go. Are the soft tyres starting to fade and die off, because Tachus is 1.8 behind now, Wob McQueen. So soft tyres look like they might be fading, and fading fast. So we could see crazy battles starting to open up here, as in towards turn number 7 and 8 we go. They're wheel to wheel. I believe they did do a bit of bargy contact there, but I believe they'll both get that rear wing open. But the benefit is, if they both get the rear wing open, which they do, who's going to get the benefit of the toe of James Mustang? Late on the brakes. Into 11 and 12 we go. Looks like Skillershoe got the benefit of doubt of that toe off of James. But into 14 and 15 we go. Suffocating, really trying to mount the curve as best as he can, but yeah, definitely not ideal. Skillershoe, bit of a twitchy moment there. He kind of lost grip out of turn 16, but towards 17 we go. Is a straight line speed powerful enough? Is it going to be powerful? And that is a deny. It's not going to be powerful enough to get the move done. So lap number 7 we go. Gaps are starting to build and open up. Skillershoe 4 tenths behind. Suffocating 3 tenths behind in this mini battle for P number 4. And it looks like Viperstrike is starting to break away and run away with this P3 spot. So, just have to wait and see. But into the pit lane, it comes Ashton. Out of the pits, still in P7. Of course, only 7 drivers here tonight for the F2 lot. And diving down the inside there is going to be Skillershoe for that P number 4 slot. And now, this will really help Suffocating out, because if these two keep fighting hard, Suffocating could get a really good exit and get 2 positions out of 1 corner. They're trying to go wheel to wheel there. but that's not going to work into 14 and 15. So out of 16 towards 17 we go. Skill issue in that P4 spot for now, as we go to P5's on board. He's going to get P4 back because he's got DRS and he's close enough to get the move done. So a bit pointless fighting into that sector, and Skill issue doing the same thing again and going into the rear wing, into the back of Skill issue. And Rob McQueen, a 5-second time penalty for speeding under the pits, or speeding in the pits. James Mustang enters the pit lane himself. Big bottle there for Webby. Is he able to win this race now? Or when to choose boxes for that soft tyre, is it going to be all over? We'll have to find out. We'll have to see what to choose could do here. Webby comes out of the pit lane in P5. James Mustang will follow on very, very shortly into that P6. With all that fighting, he might find himself under humongous pressure from Ashton, making his way into turns 1 and 2 because it's a little bit deep there and locks up, which does mean he'll stay in P7 for now. And James come back out in P6, which he'll be happy with. But now, here's where it all plays out. Because obviously suffocating on those mediums, driver ahead of him on the soft tyre, so his tyres will be degrading faster than his and completely dying. So he hasn't got a great exit. It's around about 5 to 6 tenths of a second. But if he can gain enough in a straight line, he could get the move done. Is it going to happen? No, it's not. On the exit 17, however, he is close, but Skill issue is already peeling in to the pits. Same with his teammate Viper Strikes, and Tachus suffocating, still staying out, as you can see, on those 8 old lap medium compounded tyres. Bob McQueen making his way around the final corner, and will get back into P number 3, but of course does have a 5-second time penalty to his name, which obviously isn't ideal for himself. Viper Strikes will come out in P4 with Skill issue behind only by 1.5 of a second. But then to now onto a fresh set of the soft compound tyre. Well, I say both of them. Skill issue, my apologies, is on the softs. He switches to the mediums, so Viper Strikes can really start to push towards the end of this race with almost 6 laps remaining, and he'll be flying to the end now. So, realistically, Viper Strikes should have this decent podium in his hands and in his grasp. Have to see what he can do and see what pace he's got. Is Tachus coming into the pit lane? He is indeed. But he also gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. That is definitely not ideal, and definitely not what you need. He's done the same thing as Rob McQueen. So Tachus, looking for a good race to end off tonight, might have to fight it out and duel it out with Webby, who's going to take the lead of this race. Down to turn 1 he goes. Definitely not ideal. The Real, hello, hello. How we doing, buddy? Hope you are well. You join us for round number 7, season 9 of the F2 lot tonight. 6 laps remain, and it's all getting a bit spicy. It's all getting a bit crazy, shall we say. So yeah. You never know, there could be a fight for P1. which would be lovely to see. Mick's looking for a podium. I mean, at the way it's going, I hate to be a party pooper, but it may not be possible. Could be, but we'll have to see. Because obviously Viper Strikes is, what, 6.8 away from Tachus for that P2. Skillershoe, 2.2 away from Viper Strikes, because obviously Viper Strikes is boxed for a fresh set of the soft compound of tyre. So it just really depends on drivers pace wise and how they do on the different compounded tyre, really. That's all I can say. But at the moment in time, Skillershoe losing time to Viper Strikes. So we'll just have to find out and see what happens, because obviously these two could fight hard and lose time to themselves. The gap between Tachus now and GOVEE on lap number 11 is around about 3.9 of a second. Of course, Robin McQueen boxed a lap or two earlier than Tachus, so Tachus will have a 2-lap advantage at this moment of time on the soft compound tyre, and can really start to close down on Robin McQueen. With the F2 lot, it's really about drivability and how well they do, because obviously they don't have the ERS like F1 cars do these days, because they're a little bit slower, a little bit heavier, I'd say, and a little bit more difficult to drive. But all they got is basically get their corner exits right and superb, like you just saw to choose there out of turn number 7 to 8, and that was absolutely lovely. But yeah, it's all about driver skill. If they know how to drive the car, they will do well. If they don't, they could do well still, or they could struggle. It just varies and really, really depends on driver's confidence within the car. Suffocating in P5 on the soft compounder's tyre as well, like his teammate in P3 at the moment. He could close down on Skillershoe and try and take away P4. So we'll keep our eyes peeled to that one, but the main battle of all is this P1 position. Tachus, wanting a race win today, wanting a good result, didn't get it in the sprint race, did get a P3, but he wanted to win potentially both races today to try and close the gap down on Robin McQueen. Does exceed, which might be the white line there, or might just be within track limits, so that could be a warning to his name. A 1 minute 41.295 being handed to Tachus, the fastest driver on the track at the moment. Of course, if you don't know, if you get 3 warnings within the track limits, you get a 3-second time penalty. And suffocating, matter of fact, a 1 minute 41.1. Fastest man at the moment on the circuit. He is really, really hammering the pace. So as we can see, suffocating in P5. The gap is within a second. So he will get that lovely, lovely rear wing open to try and get past Skillershoe for what is a P number 4. But the big question is, can it happen on the rundown? Out of turn number 8 towards turn number 11. Suffocating. Not close enough this time round to get the move done. Does pull to the right hand side, just looking if there was a possible move to be done. But it looks like it's going to be a big, big no-no. And suffocating on the rear wing then of Skillershoe into the tricky part of the track. Now leaving the tricky part of the track. DRS inactivated. He will most likely get by on this straight, which he needs to. Hello, Mr. Darkness. How are we doing? Welcome to the stream, buddy. How was your, I believe, ACC race? How'd it go? Hopefully it went absolutely superb and lovely. You catch us on lap number 13. Potentially, I believe it's to lap number 14, but I could be wrong. Not long until this F2 race is over. And Watkins Glen in the GT4s was actually fun. That's good to hear. And yes, on to lap number 13 now. So my brain having a few moments. And, I'm a little bit confused. But we now peel our eyes towards, not third, which of course we love Viper Strike so much. We're going to draw our attention to this battle. Both drivers with 5-second time penalties for speeding in the pit lane. Robbie wanting yet another race victory to his name to choose 1.2 away, now 1.4. It could actually happen. We could get a new race leader. It could happen. So, to lap number 14, we go very shortly. We'll keep on board with Tachus to see how he does in sectors 1, 2 and 3. So we'll keep on board for a whole lap. But if any more carnage happens behind, then of course we'll switch to that attention. But to start lap 14, heading towards turns number 1, 2 and 3. Let's ride on board with Tachus himself. Look at that, drifting, angling the car where it needs to be, but might have lost a few tenths or seconds there, most likely within a second action. So potentially that turn 1 exit did work. So 6 tenths is between them two. And yellow flags as well being called. Someone is round on circuit, and I believe it is going to be skill issue. And it is. James Mustang up into P5 now, on board with these two lovely people. And they're making their way down to turns number 11 and 12. And getting very close to the rear wing of Robin McQueen, Tachus was. And yeah. What a skill issue. I know, right? Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, bit of lag as well from Webby himself. So, yeah, the gap opens up to 7 tenths of a second. So we're going to see if anyone can close down. It looks like maybe not. But more yellow flags. Someone's round once again. A skill issue out of the race. And contact between Tachus and Webby on lap number 15, the penultimate lap of this race. Them two making contact, which we didn't think we would see. So one of them could potentially have big damage on their front wings, which most likely will be Tachus. But Tachus looking to that inside line. And may get the overtake done, so we're going to go to an out point view. And Tachus now going wheel to wheel with Robin McQueen, making their way down to turns number 11 and 12. Tachus just a car's width ahead. Robin McQueen in the background trying to fight this one, but just concedes and may try and go for a move on the exit of 16 towards turn number 17. He'll get that DRS activated, so he could go for one more cheeky move before the final lap of this race. And once again, he'll get the DRS for the final lap if he's behind. But we'll see what happens, because obviously if we switch to P2, he's looking very close. And pulling to the outside. And they're going to try and go wheel to wheel. Bit of a squiggly moment there for Tachus. Is still wheel to wheel, making their way down to turns 1, 2 and 3. And yeah, see what happens. Oh, they are really putting on a good show, and they're suffocating, catching up to his teammate of Viper Strikes. Can we see them two fight it out for the last lap here around what could be a lovely circuit of Miami? And we'll see how the IRL F1 lot get on tonight with qualifying for the sprint whole weekend, really. And contact there. And Wobby's round. Wobby's round. Contact. And that could mean if... Oh, my goodness. If Suffocating and Viper Strikes work together here and get within 5 seconds, which they're in with 5 seconds, they could both be on the podium towards the end of this race. The way drama switches round could be devastating for McQueen. So now these two have really got to work together to gain. And them two could have a double podium for their team, which I think they'll be delighted and really, really happy with. But that is so unfortunate there. Wobby, maybe it was contact, or maybe he just lost that rear end ever so slightly. Wow. The way things change towards the end on the final lap of this race is absolutely crazy. Viper Strikes keeps it calm, keeps it collected. The gap is what? 3 or 4.3 of a second. If he keeps below 5 seconds, he'll be on the podium, and his teammate Suffocating behind could as well be on the podium. But it'll be Juice winning here today at Miami for the main race itself, and unserved penalty as well for Juice. And it could be the same for Wobby McQueen, and it is as well. So it could be a bit of a switch up here, and it's going to be Joe into P2, Suffocating into P3, Wobby dropping down to P4, and James Mustang crosses the line very, very shortly, and he'll be taking a P number 5 for today. And P number 6, Ashton, had a very good race today. He'll be very delighted and happy with that one. He makes his way around turn 17 towards 18 and 19 we go towards start and finish. And that is it. We are done. We are dusted. That is the F2 lot done. That is indeed right, Viper Strikes. Congratulations on that one. Much high hope. Oh, Webby, what happened to you, my friend? A tap spins me. Very unfortunately. Have no words. I might have jinxed you, but we don't talk about that. As we move to the results this weekend, we can see sprint race. It was Wobby winning the sprint, Suffocating in P2, and then Juice in P3, James in P4, Viper Strikes in P5, Ashton in P6, and a DNF there from Skillershoe in P7. We move to the feature race as well. It's Mr. Juice in P1, P2, Viper Strikes, P3, Suffocating, a double Campos podium. So I'll be very happy with that one. Wobby McQueen down in P4, James Mustang P5, and Ashton P6, and P7, Skillershoe once again, DNF, him out of the race. So probably scoring no points this weekend. I know, Webby, I did see on stream. I had a little glimpse of it, and yeah, definitely unfortunate, definitely not ideal. But we are done and dusted for the stream today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for round number 8. And as well, join me tomorrow, Saturday, for ACC at 8 o'clock. And then you've got tiers 1 and 2 being commentated and as well live streamed on this fantastic and wonderful channel. So make sure to drop us a follow on the Twitch or join our Discord down below. But that's it from me. I'm signing off. Bye bye.